When the Pokémon Company added Baby Terapagos to the official Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet website, and yeah, that's what I'm calling it until we get a name, they also added a bit of information. And in the middle of that information, they told us that it disguises itself as a jewel. So hey, I'm not so ace trainer, and what about that jewel? Let's get into it. So, as I said, the official Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet website page for Baby Terapagos says, and I quote, "Apparently it can also assume a dormant state when it feels that its life is in danger, by pulling its head, limbs and tail into its shell, and making itself look like a jewel." This is very much like what's happening in the anime, where Liko, the main character, has a pendant that seems to be somehow connected to Baby Terapagos, and it's easy to see the whole situation of limbs, head and tail being inside. We know the games and anime are basically two whole different worlds, but a jewel is a jewel, and we should be looking for one here in the games as well. Still, there are some specific things that are missing from this information that make me wonder what's really going on. For example, they never mention it is a legendary Pokémon. So let's look at what else they have to say. In the website, they also mention the following. This Pokémon is small in stature and not particularly strong, but when push comes to shove, it can crystallize the energy in its body to form a protective shield. And its splendid aura is reminiscent of the legendary Pokémon Terapagos, but this Pokémon's name and true nature are shrouded in mystery. So it isn't a strong Pokémon, it can form a protective shield around it when it feels it's in danger, and it seems to somehow be connected to Terapagos. I have a pretty good idea of what's going on here, but for that, let's look at Gen 6 real quick. Pokémon X and Pokémon Y introduced us to the mythical Pokémon Diancie. Diancie is a rock and fairy type Pokémon that has a Mega Evolution. But what's interesting about Diancie is actually the fact that it is related to another Pokémon. That Pokémon is Carbink. Diancie is a sudden transformation of Carbink, a mythical Pokémon that comes from a completely regular Pokémon. Actually, one of the few cases where the genesis of a Pokémon is given to us by Game Freak, making it pretty important. So, now you probably understand where I'm going with this. There are a lot of Baby Terapagos out there, and they are not legendary. The legendary one is actually Terapagos, the big turtle. And there is a reason why we have never seen this Pokemon. Let me explain you why. The Great Crater of Paldea, Area Zero, whatever you want to call it. That place was once full of Baby Terapagos. And Terapagos, the regular Terapagos, was also there. That Pokemon was, in a way, their leader. As the information on the website says, Baby Terapagos can go dormant and just bring their head, limbs and tail inside its shell, becoming like some kind of jewel. Now imagine if all Baby Terapagos grew dormant on top of the actual Terapagos. You know, on top of its pentagon-filled shell. Their jewel is a hexagon. If they all slept there on top of each other, it would form a shell comprised of various overlapping hexagons. And if they are small enough, people would see them as Terapagos scales. The danger that they sensed that made them go like this might simply be the constant explorations that started with the Emperor of Paldea and they lasted until modern day. I think this explains everything, the reason why Terapagos never really felt like the Disk Pokemon, and it can also explain the Terrestrial phenomenon and Terra raids. The other thing the website tells us is that Baby Terapagos can crystallize energy in order to form a protective shield. If this energy were to react to Terra shards and the biology of Pokemon affected by it, could we be seeing Baby Terapagos since the beginning of the game right here? Could the Terra crowns and Terra crystal layer all around us simply be Baby Terapagos protecting itself due to being afraid? Which would mean that we have this Pokemon inside our Terra orb. The scale is not a scale, but actually Baby Terapagos. Terra raids can simply be the Pokemon defending itself from danger. A random Pokemon approaches them and bam, it uses its shield, this time in a way that is not contained, creating Teradence. Now, if this is really what's going on, there's only one question. Who knows about it? Does anyone know about it? Do the professors that study it actually know it is not a scale but an actual Pokemon? Does Clavel and the Pokemon League know what they're dealing with? And, most important of all, can someone new actually know more? They have confirmed 2 new characters that will show up in the hidden treasure of Area Zero. They will be Carmen and Kieran. They are from Kitakami, and since I believe Kitakami will be around this part of the map, I think that they might have seen the effects of this energy, be it from the actual Terapagos or from Baby Terapagos. And I have a feeling that Kieran might actually have been in contact with this baby Pokemon, maybe even have it. They mentioned that Carmen is chilly towards people from other regions, but that Kieran actually is curious about us after we arrived from Paldea. Could that be because he knows what happens in Paldea? The way they use the baby Terapagos that he found in such a cruel manner, such a strange manner. Or could it simply be because he wants to know more about that Pokemon and thinks we know about it? This strange Diancie and Carbink-like connection between baby Terapagos and Terapagos explains a lot of the inconsistencies we've seen so far, but this goes way deeper than that when we factor in Paradox Pokemon. Could those Pokemon actually be creations they made or that the actual Terapagos made in order to protect themselves? Pokemon that are scary and powerful to try and push away the scientists and explorers, since their shields are just not enough anymore. And that is all I have for you today. I am very confident in this specific relationship between baby Terapagos and Terapagos. I think it just explains a lot of things. But what about you? Do you think that this is what's going on? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch, as in there Wednesday to Sunday, not Saturday, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.